Hey, good morning, guys. Today is August 28th, 2016. I'm going to be going over the weekly trade ideas for this week. First on the list, I have Bofi. Now, this chart did print a spinning top candle over here, so I'm more inclined to be a little bit bearish at this one. I think it's a little extended from this area here. So what I'd like to see on this one is I'd like to see a pullback on this one down to about somewhere around closer to 20 or so. And then I can take it long into that because the chart still obviously has strength. And so what I'd like to get is a nice little pullback down to about 20. Then see if we can catch it there. You're gonna have to risk a little bit more on this one, so you can wait for it to hit that target because the risk reward is gonna be better off because if it pulls back to the 20 and holds, then my target's kind of close up to almost 30, so it could have some range on it. Next on the list is Jdst. Now, I just like the volume here. I like the increase in volume. MACD's crossover, stochastics are crossed over, and the chart does have an 813 cross up, and it's been holding the 13 for a couple days now. So this one's really not for the inexperienced traders because you're gonna have to have a little wider range on it. It's an ETF, trades alongside opposite of gold, so it's not really something that you can just jump into and just expect to work for you right away. But for the guys that do want to trade it, I think this one does have range on it, and it could have a good potential. So if it comes into the 27s, low 27s, 26s, somewhere around there, right where the 13 EMA would sit. You can test this again on that EMA, knowing that the last couple times it's actually held above it. And if you can get it to hold, obviously you have to risk down to here, which is about 23.75. But the upside potential is probably till about 40. Qure. Now I've been doing this chart for a while and I still like it in this 850 range. So here's out. If the 850 holds, take it long. Risk down to $8 and try to finally get this chart to break out. It's been bumping around recently a lot more than it did before, and so you see a lot more green candles now than when it used to have red candles. So I feel like there's some sort of an area here that's really kind of catching my attention, and so the 850 range with the $8 stop, and see if you can finally get this thing to break through and give you that $11 target. Prgs. So this one broke through that area of resistance over here. It's a nice bull flag, consolidated for a while. MACD's settled down, stochastics are ready to go. Some little bit of volume coming in here. So this little hanging man here is the only problem I have with it for right now. So what I'd like to see is a little pullback to retest the trend right about what do I have here on the notes? $28.20. So is that right? $28.70. Sorry, I wasn't watching that properly. $28.70, which puts you right at the trend line. If the chart can hold at the $28.70, then I think you can try this one on the long side. You have to risk down into this support area here because you can see that if you draw a horizontal line, you can see that there's some support in this range. So if you get $28.70, you risk down to maybe 50 cents on it or something. Add over this range over here. So you want to get clear out of this area of resistance here. Add into it over 30. See if you can get the chart up to about 31. Pstg, huge bearish engulfing on Friday's session. So what I'd like to see, and don't think that it's just gonna ramp up, because now that it came back under all of this area of resistance here, it's got to also get back through that area of resistance before anything happens. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to see the chart pop back up here to about $12.25 for a short, actually, and I think I should just see it come back down into a better area of support, which kind of leads me to about $10 somewhere on there for the long entry. If you catch that long entry, then I think you'd be better off to play the chart then as a swing. For right now, it'll be more so of a pop and a short. Vuzi. chart's testing 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and it pushed through a 13 crossover, decent volume coming in. MACD is about to cross over, stochastics are crossed over. I like this one. I'm very bullish on this. I'm also swinging this from $7.23. So I do think that the chart can break up to this $9 area, and I'm holding for that. If you are playing it for the long side now, I think if you get a little pullback down to $7.75, you can take this chart long at 7.75, risk down about 50 cents or so on at 40 cents, and try to get about the same target that I'm looking for, which is about 9, a little 9 plus. YRD, solid support on the 50 EMA. So what I'm liking on this chart is for a pop. Then once it gets the pop, I think that we get a nice head and shoulder type pattern here, right to about $30.50. And then we can short it and bring it back down, see if it actually breaks the 50 EMA when it gets down to that area. HWAY, now this is an extended chart, brought it up a couple days ago, and I still like it for a head and shoulder pattern. MACD's already crossed down, but a little volume came into here, which leads me to want to believe that I think the chart can actually push one more time here, right to about $25.50. Then all you really have to risk is to about $26. So it's a 50-cent risk. If it doesn't work out, you get stopped out at your first piece. Otherwise, you could take the starter short up here. You can add if it breaks the 13 EMA, and then you can try to bring the chart down back to about 20 bucks or less. CSIQ. Now there's an inverted head and shoulder here that I'm looking at, and so I like the indicators are fine, volume's fine. I like the inverted head and shoulder pattern here. So what I'd like to do is take some on the long side. I'll probably end up getting some on Monday. Obviously depends on how the market's acting. So I'd like to get some right about 13, and then I'm gonna risk down to about 12.50, and I'm gonna try to see if I get it up to 14.50 or so. Last one on the list is GPOR. Yeah, GPOR. So 1, 2, 3 time for the test of the trend, but this time there's some volume coming in. MAC is crossover, stochastics are crossover, and with the increase in volume, I do like this one for the breakout. But before that happens, I'd like to see a pullback on it. So what I'd like to get is a 50% retracement, somewhere closer to about $28 or so for your entry. Risk down to about $27.50. Tight stop, because you know this is the uptrend here that it's trying to keep. So if it breaks the uptrend, then it comes down. So your stops have to be under this line right here. So entry at 28, stops under the trend line, and if it holds and breaks and holds over the 50 EMA, I'm thinking you get it up to about $30.50. So that's the 10 for this week. Safe trading to everybody. Just also remember there's a holiday weekend coming up, so the volume is probably going to be a little bit sketchy, as it's been for the last couple weeks anyways. But do expect some lessened volume as people will be taking off and whatnot. So as always, have a great week, and I'll see you guys next week.